Good afternoon, Roto Grinders. It is the Grinders Live Saturday edition. I am Stevie TPFL. I am joined by the non-tire changing, non-windshield wiper changing, the man lady himself, Dean 78094575512.
First of all, your introduction, you forgot to say BBP. I thought it was Stevie BBP PFL or something like that.
True.
You
Yeah,
buried the lead, man. It's all about BBP as far as I know.
all about BVP.
By the way, apologies to all you guys watching. Sorry to interrupt your college football. This is very rude of us. We're going to be talking about some baseball. I as well. I don't know if you have, Stevie, but I've been watching a little college football today. I woke up this morning, Saturday. I set my alarm for 8:30 to watch UCF, my alumni, my school, playing over in Ireland for some reason. They played against Penn State. I'm sure you woke up and watched that game as well, correct?
I woke up and went to work.
Oh, work on Saturday? Aren't you the boss?
Yeah, I had to. People out of town.
Ah, jeez. You're going to be cranky today as well. I'm cranky because, first of all, I'm like the guy in Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. I think Boggs called out. He was sick for whatever reason.
Yeah, Luis Cart's called out. I'm right there with you.
Unbelievable. This is the B squad.
This is the fifth day or sixth day in a row that I filled in for somebody, so you guys are probably sick of my mug.
Yeah, and this is my 6th day in a row of being on air, so ditto. You guys are sick of both of our mugs. At least you have a lovely beard and a pleasant hat to look at. I don't really know what I have going on for me.
Yeah, I switched up the hat a few times this week just to make it interesting and fresh.
Different Boston Red Sox hat, like some red ones and some black ones?
Yeah, and then I think I wore a white one and maybe a Roto Grinders hat, thrown in there at one point.
I'm not cool enough to have a Roto Grinders hat. I need to start talking to people, I guess.
Nah, you didn't go to the Vegas party last year.
I'm going to go to this year. How about that? Boom.
I have something for everybody at the Vegas party this year. You'll get a little special something.
Is there a gift bag of some sort? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm bringing something for everybody.
Is that a setup for a joke, or is this like legitimate?
No, legit. Don't want to go into too many more details, but yeah.
Give us a tease. Give me a tease.
Nope,
Give me something.
no tease.
Oh, all right. Speaking of Vegas, by the way, it's funny. So my mom knows I'm going to Vegas. She told me, she's aware that I'm going to Vegas next week. So she happened to find, I don't know, when I saw her, she gave me this. It's a $5 chip from the Dunes Casino. Now, do you know where the Dunes Casino is in Vegas right now currently?
No, I do not, but I will gladly go with you if you want to go play that at the Dunes Casino just for shits and giggles.
No, we would need a DeLorean to go to the Dunes Casino. But the Dunes Casino was blown up in 1993. 1993. 21 years ago. The very latest this chip was in circulation was 21 years ago. Very earliest, I'm sorry. So, thanks, Mom. The Dunes Casino is actually where the Bellagio is today. So I can't imagine that, but hey, listen, Bellagio, I was here 23 years ago. Can you hook a brother up? I don't think it's going to work.
That's the best.
Yeah. So there you go. There's my $5 chip from the Dunes Casino. I tweeted that out last night, and I happen to have it right next to me. So there you go. I got some more use out of it. I think the Dunes Casino was wasn't that like one of the ending scenes of Casino, the movie? You saw Casino, right?
No.
What?
No, I didn't.
Well, I know. I mean, I heard you, but I felt like I needed to say it again. I had to emphasize how ridiculous.
No.
The idea, if people are actually watching this show, because I feel like I have not seen anybody in the chat, mention we even exist, but I feel like people should give you a hard time for having not seen Casino.
Oh,
there's Evac.
Bring it on.
How do you not see Casino? Are you not a fan of movies? Do you not care for good movies, or how does that work?
No, you watch bad movies. I watch all the good movies.
Casino is not a bad movie. It's a great movie, by the way.
I've probably just missed it. Have you ever seen
You don't just miss Casino. It's on all the time.
I haven't seen it.
All right, well, put it up.
I'm gonna watch it now. I'm writing it down. Hold on. Let me get my pen out.
Hit up a Redbox or something. It's probably not Redbox circulation, but yeah, get your pen out. Highlight it.
Watch a bad movie named Casino.
Oh, stop it! It's not a bad movie. It's a great. Bobby De Niro, Joe Pesci, Scorsese. Come on, what are we talking about?
I got it written down. I got my handy dandy pen. I got it written down. Good to go.
All right. What have you seen that's good?
I don't know. Rounders? If we're going to go Vegas movies, Rounders?
Rounders is excellent. There you go. I cannot dispute Rounders. But see them both. That's the thing with movies. You don't have to choose. It's not like you only have a certain amount of salary. You can only roster so many movies. You can watch them all the good ones.
roster. Yeah.
Yeah, so the chat woke up. They're giving you our time there about casino. Come on,
Bring it on. I can take it. Let's go.
it should be brought on. All of it's deserved.
There's
Tenfold.
another movie that I can't think of. Oh, Shade. Have you ever seen Shade?
Shame?
Shade. Shade. Shade.
I'm not sure.
There you
Elaborate.
go. There you go. I'll watch Casino. You watch Shade, and we'll talk about it next time we see each other.
You're comparing Shade to.
Great poker movie.
Is it? How am I not aware of it?
It's an older movie. I think it came out in the late '90s, early 2000s.
2004. Jamie Foxx, Gabriel Byrne,
Yep.
Thandie Newton, Stuart Townsend. I'm not sure if I'm aware of this. Okay. 6.4 on IMDb though. That's not a very solid score. 6.4 on a 10-point scale. I trust IMDb.
Just watch it. I'll watch your Casino movie. And then you watch my Shade movie, and we'll talk about it.
What was that William H. Macy movie that was really good about luck? I can't remember that. That was another good casino movie. Somebody in the chat helped me out. You know what I'm talking about or no?
No.
Where it was about, like, it was a guy who just had terrible luck. He was the Cooler. You ever see the Cooler before? That's a good casino movie.
All right, I'm writing these down.
The Cooler. I'm telling you, it's fun. I like William H. Macy. It's a solid movie. Alec Baldwin's amazing in The Cooler. Awesome. Steals
Good to know.
Yeah. Are you a fan of the Alec Baldwin?
Depends. Some of his movies, okay.
All right, fair enough. Do we talk about enough movies so far? I want to talk about anything but my UCF because I'm a little disgruntled by that. But so we're good at movies. Are we talking about baseball tonight? We have a little. Again, everybody's talking about college football and perfectly fine. I love college football too. You have your Florida Gators going tonight. There's some people in the chat. The Cooler. There you go. The Cooler was good. Give it a thumbs up, guys. It was a pretty solid movie.
Driscoll?
Yeah.
He's almost min price. You have to take him tonight, right?
I don't know. I honestly, I'm not. I'm a little backed up my college football information, so I barely even played today. I will jump in. I will dive in with it. If not this week, coming up the next week. But I do know he's cheap, and I know Florida, while they were terrible last year, they completely revamped their offense, and now it's like no huddle. Like they're going to start passing the ball. It's going to be wide open, and last year was just dreadful. I'm sure you're well aware of this. Anything would be an improvement. So.
Yeah, but new offense coordinator supposed to have completely revamped this whole offense. So I'm excited to watch the game tonight. I hope they win by a lot. They're favored by a ton, but that doesn't mean anything. And any of you guys playing college football this morning and you had Trevon Green, you're in my boat. I had that guy everywhere today, and his 3.4 fantasy points. You're probably sitting here with me, upset and ready for next week to start already.
I saw some overland. I threw him one team, and Trayvon Green made my team. I doubled down on the Marshall guys. Cato at quarterback, who's kind of a stud, with Schuler, and that you want more points out of those guys. It's still a third quarter, but I didn't have no Funches for me, so I didn't pay for Funches. Well, wide receiver. I liked him as a tight end last year, and I'm like, yeah, wide receiver now. So many other options, and I passed. But
I played a lot on Fantasy Aces, and I looked for him for like 10 minutes at wide receiver yesterday. And I went back to Fantasy Aces today, and he was still listed as a tight end.
Oh, and you missed that one.
Yeah, and he was really cheap. So I didn't even open up Fantasy Aces again to look at my college football stuff. But you know the great thing about all this, Dean?
Yeah, Dean. Yeah, what's up?
We get to play fantasy baseball tonight.
Yes, absolutely. We can clean the slate on college football today. Although I'm sure we were going to be watching some games in the background, but we have some fantasy baseball tonight. It's still baseball season. Have you taken a look at the pitchers tonight? A couple big names, but they each have a couple of warts by them, I guess, to some extent. We have Steven Strasburg. Of course, if I was hosting with DC with Draft Cheat, he would just say Strasburg. He would unleash him. It wouldn't be a conversation. But tonight he faces Seattle and all those lefties. He hasn't been very good of late. I don't know. He's not as good on the road. But, he has good stuff, and he has high potential, and, all the peripherals say Strasburg's elite, and then, he's got his detractors as well. Are we paying up for Strasburg is the question. I
think I'd rather have Greinke.
Okay, tell me why.
Oh, San Diego's offense, just one of the worst offenses in the league. DraftKings, the win is not as important as it is on a site like FanDuel, so you don't have to worry about Ian Kennedy facing, on the other side of Greinke. think Greinke's in a good spot against the San Diego offense, and it's at Petco, so you get a huge ballpark boost, and $100 difference. I think, Strasburg's in play for me tonight, but I think I'd use him more in tournament play than I would use him in like cash games. I think Greinke's a great cash game guy today. And what about this guy from Milwaukee, Mike Fears?
Fires. Yeah, he's been really good. But first of all, as far as Zach Greinke, any concern there with the elbow? He went out and he wasn't spectacular. He had that elbow injury or whatever it was, an elbow issue, I guess. And if you look at his game log, he's not been spectacular of late. I know the matchup is ripe against San Diego. They're pretty awful, but we're looking at 15 DraftKings points, 19, 12, 16 in his last 4. You kind of want more than that if you're going to pay out that much money. But I guess it's tonight the matchup that's going to be ripe. And the elbow's going to be fine. The Mets kind of sort of got to him to some extent. We're not concerned. You don't care. I guess, he's sort of the best option, so we kind of just have to deal with the elbow. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I read this morning that he didn't skip a bullpen session this week, so he did take his bullpen session. So all signs lead to his elbow is feeling a little bit better. Tender elbow is a lot different than having an actual pulled muscle or anything to that extent. So I think the matchup is too good. The price is, not crazy high, but, he's priced right. Let's be honest. 10-7 for him on DraftKings tonight. He's priced right. I like the matchup. I'm not too worried about the elbow from everything I've been reading. And the 7 innings last time out, I think he threw like 108 pitches, if I remember correctly. And I think he's going to be okay.
By the way, just Vegas. Vegas not concerned about Greinke. It's a 6.5 over-under. Of course, that game has Ian Kennedy, who's a pretty competent pitcher on the other side. And they're a favorite as well. I believe they're a favorite. Let me see. Yes, minus 140 favorite. As far as Strasburg, he is it's pretty much a coin toss there. Well, he's minus 117, depending on what book you're looking at, against Seattle, against Ronis Elias.
I think Elias was scratched for Chris Young.
Yeah, I thought Chris Young was scratched for Elias.
I could be wrong.
I thought Chris Young was originally supposed to go, and Elias is stepping in.
Like I said, I could be wrong.
All right, I think that's according to Vegas Insider. That's what they have, and everywhere else I'm seeing is it's Elias. So I think he's the guy. He's starting.
That's even better then. I think I'm gonna even stay away from Strasburg even more now.
All right. Well, you could. How about in a cash game? Well, so you're saying you only trust Strasburg on a tournament. So in a cash game, you wouldn't double down on Strasburg and Greinke, just kind of fit in some value just to get your 50-50s working.
If you can fit them, I don't see a problem with it. But Greinke definitely clear cut number 1 for me. And your boy from Milwaukee, you know how to pronounce his last name. I don't, obviously.
Mike Fiers?
Fiers. But I'm all over this guy tonight. Just been pitching fantastic, and I'm trying to pull up his stats real quick.
He's been awesome. Yeah, he's been great. He had a great AAA, minor league numbers as well. Nice K rate. San Francisco has kind of been hot of late, but look at his game log. There you go. Fiers 28, 29, 43, 27 in his last 4. It's pretty phenomenal. San Francisco's a friendly ballpark. Doesn't give a lot of home runs, and if there's one thing Fiers has an issue with, it would be the home runs. So it's a pretty conducive ballpark for his skill set. But
I think the thing that stands out the most to me is in 28 innings, he's only given up 10 hits in 4 starts. So
pretty good.
On a site that you get minus points for walks and hits against, he's only walked 4 guys, 1 walk per game. His strikeout rate has been there. If you look at his strikeouts, yeah, he faced the Cubs, 14 strikeouts. Okay, that's cool. Anybody can strike out the Cubs, but
14 though is pretty strong.
Yeah, anybody can strike out the Cubs, but 14 you have to take that into fact. But he's shut down Toronto, Pittsburgh, and the Dodgers. Those are 3 good offenses. I think I'd take those 3 offenses over an offense like the Giants. So I'm locked in on him tonight. I like him a lot, and I will be playing him quite a bit.
What about the Sharks? Samardzija, not the greatest of matchups. We don't like to pick on Anaheim. 9.5K there on DraftKings. Not the greatest price, not a horrible price. I think maybe a tournament play, but not for your cash games. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I guess you can play him in a tournament. I don't take pitchers against good offenses. That's just one of my number 1 rules, and I don't do it. I live by it, and it's just not something that I'm going to do tonight.
I did it last night. Washington's got a pretty good offense, right? I took King Felix. That didn't work out so well.
I had a good amount of Felix. The team that actually ran up the top of the leaderboard for me was a Zimmerman team last night.
Oh, look at I had no Zimmerman teams. I had I had a Felix Hernandez team on FanDuel that scored 56 points.
Oh,
So what could have been?
I forget what I scored.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up because it was like the fourth or fifth night in a row that I've been sweating a top 25 strikeout, and you must have had a pretty good night because I scored 56.25 with Zimmerman.
Yeah, 56 points with Felix Hernandez. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the leaderboard. I'm like number 11 or so, like 10:30, with Felix Hernandez and Miguel Montero going, and I'm like, well, this could be good. I think I have a shot here. Nobody in front of me had Felix Hernandez. I'm like, all right, King Felix, this guy's pretty solid. He never gives up 4 home runs, never once in his career. And then 4 dongs later, I'm like 15th.
Yeah, you finished 22nd, right behind me.
Okay, there you go.
So hold on. If you give me your shortstop and I give you my second baseman and shortstop, combined lineup would have been nice.
Marwin Gonzalez, man, minimum salary.
Yeah, Danny Santana, Arcia, and D. Gordon, minus 3.5 for me last night towards the top of the leaderboard, and that's nothing more frustrating than that.
I believe Arcia had the golden sombrero too. Did you lose any more points for that?
Not on FanDuel.
You should.
You should. I agree with you. Take all the money away from me.
You should just your lineup just be automatically like discarded if you have a guy with a golden sombrero.
Yeah, I agree. That's just So back to tonight and pitching.
Ian Kennedy, any interest there? Nice ballpark. Dodgers not exactly the lineup you want to pick on, but it is a big ballpark. It's a low over/under. Interesting. He's got upside. James Shields. He got shellacked his last time out against the Yankees. I remember that all too well. I got whiplash watching that game, as did James Shields.
As did everybody else that played fantasy that night.
Oh man, he had that one inning where he gave like 19 runs, but he's kind of underpriced. I think 8.4K is a little too cheap. Home game, nice ballpark against Cleveland. Any interest in either of those two guys, Kennedy or Shields?
I think I'd lean Kennedy over Shields. I think Kennedy will be under-owned tonight. Like I said, I don't like taking pitchers against good offenses, but this ballpark, this matchup, I guess if you want to go contrarian and take a GPP play, I think Ian Kennedy is going to be under-owned. Shields against Cleveland, at Kansas City, another good ballpark. I think I'm going to be on the wait-and-see kind of train for Shields.
All right. Chris Tillman. Guys, he's just one of those guys that, there are certain pitchers you rarely take but you rarely pick on with hitters. He's sort of that guy for me. I rarely roster Chris Tillman. I generally don't isolate and say, I got to pick on Chris Tillman. I just kind of leave him alone. I kind of pretend like he doesn't exist. But if you look at his game log, he's been very solid. Not spectacular, but, no matter how far back you go, 20 points, 35, 14, 26, 29, 13, 12, 20, 11, 20. He's not going to kill you. He's fairly safe, and he's at home against those Twinkies. I think he's going to be decent today. Chris Tillman?
Yeah, I like him for an SP2 in cash games tonight. Like you said, he's been very consistent. I have no problem rolling him out there in cash games tonight. I don't mind him as an SP2 in GPPs as well. I think he actually won't be as highly owned as most. And at 8,700 as an SP2, I think he fits in there really well with Greinke.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it. I know you don't want to pick on your Red Sox, but Odorizzi, he has that upside. He has those innings. He has those games where he can rack up double-digit Ks in the right nights. But Boston has been hitting pretty well of late. Any interest in Odorizzi? 8.2K, pretty fair price. Tournament, possibly?
Hold on. Chris Archer. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Odorizzi definitely in play for me tonight. Even though the Red Sox crushed Archer last night, I'm still going to be all over Odorizzi tonight. I don't believe in my Red Sox right now. Haven't really believed in them since maybe the second week of the season. So I like Odorizzi. I liked Archer yesterday. I'm going right back to the well against the Red Sox tonight, and I like his strikeout potential for GPPs tonight. Is
Aaron Harang too cheap against the Marlins? 6.7K?
I will never ever roster Aaron Harang. That's a fact of fantasy. I will never roster that guy.
If he was free, I say he's 6.7K. If he's free, he's $0. Would you roster Aaron Harang?
Well, of course I would.
Well, there you go. See, you got to put an asterisk by that statement.
Anybody likes free.
Well, if he was $8, how about that? Would you roster
I wouldn't roster him. He's not free.
$8 though. Who can resist $8?
You remember when last season for football season, Draft Street had a defense at like $11 against a team and they scored a touchdown?
Yes.
They even got blown out. I think it was the Jags, wasn't it, against Denver?
Something like yeah, I do remember that actually.
And they scored a touchdown and scored like 3 fantasy points, even giving up like 35 or 40, and like you had to have them to win a GPP that week.
Same site, Draft Street, of course. DraftKings bought them out. They merged. But you remember Stephen Curry? There was a night where Steph Curry was underpriced. He was buried like under the guys that don't even play. He was like it was a $100,000 cap, and he was like $2,000 or $3,000. And the weird thing about it was that he was it was not a late swap site, and he was questionable going into the night. But I didn't have any Stephen Curry that night for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know what I was doing, but Steph Curry scored 40 points or something like that, and he was 3% of the salary cap. That was good times.
Yeah.
Getting our flash.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
You're giving me a flashback to Draft Street. All right, other starting pitchers.
Are you shedding a tear, Dean?
No. I've accepted it. I've moved on. I'm fine. I'm over it. I found a new girlfriend, and she's better.
There's 2 guys that I'm looking at for GPPs tonight. One of them is not Jake Peavy, just so you guys know. I always target him. I like Badal Nuno tonight. A Rockies offense that struggles a lot when they go on the road. There are 2 bats that really don't struggle on the road are Morneau and Dickerson, both lefties against a lefty tonight. They don't hit lefties well. Nuno, very cheap on DraftKings. I think he fits in very well to a GPP lineup tonight. You're not going to be impressed by any of his stats that you've seen, but if you look at it, it hasn't been as bad since he's joined the Arizona Diamondbacks from when he was pitching with the Yankees. So I think he gets a depleted Rockies lineup tonight, and I love his price.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't like Nuno, but I guess, sure. I agree the Rockies are terrible on the road, but that ballpark's still not very good. He has his moments. He's had his moments there with Arizona. Isn't Trevor Bauer right in the same spot as far as price wise? It's a little bit cheaper. Trevor Bauer, same price actually.
Against the Royals team that doesn't strike out.
But Bauer's got that upside. He showed it his last game. 30 points there in DraftKings. Struck out 9 guys. Yeah, granted that was against Houston. That's completely a different kind of game, but different kind of opponent and all that. I don't know.
No. Yeah. Hold on. I'll throw another name out at you.
Throw it at me.
Scott Feldman against the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
I think I'd even prefer him over Bauer tonight.
I would say Scott Feldman's not very good, but that Texas lineup is...
He's pitched 3 out of his last 4 have been really decent.
Yeah, I know, but look at his entire career. He stunk. Let's talk about the marathon, not the sprint. But yeah, that Texas lineup. Who does Texas rolling out today? I mean, what kind of
nobody that's gonna scare you. Beltre, that's about it.
Rios stinks this year. No Dan Robertson. That's disappointing. He was my guy yesterday on DraftKings. I thought he was kind of leading off. He was like 2.3K. Lock him in. Leonis Martin, Elvis Sanders, Rios, Beltre. This Ryan Rua character gets another start. Rosales, Tellis, Odor, and Choice. It's not a very good lineup. I agree.
Yeah, and Houston against lefties are legit. Robbie Ross Jr. is a lefty, I think. So, I definitely like these Houston bats. So I think Feldman gets the run support. I know, Dean, you're going to be on Jose Altuve. So
yes.
You have to agree with me that he's going to get some run support. Altuve
is good for at least 4 home runs, possibly 2 grand dongs.
Do you have an Altuve jersey yet?
I don't know, unfortunately. Not. One day I will, though.
You need him to get traded to the Marlins.
Oh.
Then you'll be in heaven.
Well, there was that rumor, supposedly, I don't know if you saw it uncovered or released on the internet, there was supposed documents of the Marlins and the Astros and trade negotiations from a couple years back, and supposedly when the Marlins were asking for Jose Altuve for nothing. So, this is all apparently it's official documents, who knows. But that's funny you say that because Altuve could have been a Marlin, at least potentially. The Marlins, pursued it, but it didn't happen, as we know.
All right, I'm gonna throw one more GPP name out at you, and I don't know how to say his first name, and you can take a shot at it if you want. But
Wada?
Yes, Wada from the Chicago Cubs. His strikeout rate's there. If you look at his stats, besides his rain-shortened 5-inning game against San Francisco, he has been legit. 18 fantasy points plus out of 3 of his 4 games, and almost had 18 points in his rain-shortened game. Cardinals offense has really struggled this year. They did get Yadier Molina back, but we're waiting to see the lineup for the second game. Don't think he plays in the second game. I could be wrong.
No, I think he missed the first game. I think
okay. Yeah, they said the first game. I'm reading Twitter this morning, and
what's this tweeter you speak of?
I know I said it wrong. I just kind of tried to roll with it.
I had to call you out on it. I'm sorry.
I know. It's okay. It's Saturday. We just kind of do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I'm going to go with Tsuyoshi.
Okay.
Tsuyoshi Wada. That's my final answer.
Let's go get some sushi.
There you go. Look it up. Make it happen.
All right, so I think he's a decent GPP option tonight. I don't necessarily like his price on DraftKings. Some of the sites have been slow to price him up, though. If you look across the industry and you see him cheap, play him.
All right. When you said, I thought you were going to throw out Bart Cologne as well, but we're done. We're not mentioning Bart Cologne?
No,
All right. He has his moments, and it's a good matchup, and it's a good ballpark. And
give me Jimmy Rollins against him. I'll even take Ryan Howard against him tonight.
Ooh, is there a BVP in play?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Okay, I thought maybe there's.
Ryan Howard is 2 for 11 with 2 home runs off of Cologne.
Oh, that's kind of an all or nothing guy, right?
Stats. Look how ready. BVP stats are always on my computer.
Of course, that's like your home page. That's where I imagine that's where your.
I start my desktop up and it comes up to BVP. Let me tell you.
I believe that you don't have to convince me otherwise. All right, so we're done with pitchers, and I didn't see anybody in the chat. Somebody asked about Wada, but we covered Wada. If anybody else threw anybody else out, I missed them, unfortunately. We're moving on to catchers. If you want to throw out a catcher that you want us to talk about, feel free to do so. I still imagine that like 8 people are listening and everybody's watching college football, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you'll surprise me.
They're listening to us with their college football on the TV. See, that's what I would be doing.
Yeah, but then you can't hear Brett Musburger.
Wouldn't you rather hear us, Dean? Wouldn't you rather hear us? Come on.
I want to hear Brett Musburger ogle over women in the crowd, personally. That's just me, though. Maybe I'm different.
I want to hear the guy that can't change the tire talk about baseball. The most manly sport there is.
Baseball's not the most manly sport, is it? I don't think so.
162 games. Yeah, bring it on.
What about hockey?
I open anybody up to the conversation that wants to argue with me. Bring it on.
I will do it right now. I'm taking your offer.
No, there's catchers tonight, and there's a few catchers that stand out tonight.
Hockey, you play 82 games, you lose an eye, you miss like 1 shift.
Nah, who cares? Hockey's hockey. Bleh.
All right, we'll talk about some catchers if you insist. We'll move on.
I insist.
All right, is Yadier Molina the first guy we're looking at? He's really cheap, and he should be facing a lefty tonight, Wada. So, and I imagine he's going to be in the lineup. Wouldn't make any sense otherwise. So, is that our first catcher? I think that's the guy we're isolating, correct?
I think I'm right there with you. I think it's more of a price play. And
sure.
Cash games, he's been consistent even before his injury this year. He's been super consistent. So, I definitely would roster Molina in my cash games tonight. This is better than Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's what I was reading too. What year is Saturday Night Live? Because that makes a difference. Because Saturday Night Live really had its moments, and it's kind of had a couple down years. You know, there was the Mike Myers seasons, and I don't know, the Will Ferrell seasons. Did you currently watch the Saturday Night Live, or you're not?
Oh, I love me some Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I do too.
I haven't watched in a couple of years because it just went totally downhill. But
that's what everybody says. It's kind of like the same thing people say about The Simpsons. Oh, it used to be great. Or Saturday Night Live, everything used to be great, but they're still pretty good. I like SNL. I have it on the DVR. You can fast forward things. You don't have to watch everything, but I think it's pretty solid still. It's worth a watch. Every episode usually has like 1 or 2 moments where you're like, okay, I'm glad I watched this.
Yeah, somebody just posted in chat that Molina's not playing. I don't see that St. Louis lineup anywhere. Do you?
I don't, and I don't know why he wouldn't be playing. Is the St. Louis game the first one over? Yeah, the first one's over, but they're saying Molina's not playing. So yeah, check the lineups. I don't see a lineup, but again, AJ Brzezinski played the first game, so I can't imagine they would AJ. Are they carrying 3 catchers that I'm not aware of?
I don't know if they sent Perez down or not, so they might be carrying 3, but I really think Molina would be in the lineup for the second game. I don't see an official lineup anywhere yet, so.
Unless Molina got hurt again, he hurt his thumb, but.
We'll keep going, and if anything pops up on it, I'll interrupt Dean because it doesn't matter. He's just Dean.
Feel free. Yeah, it's okay. I've been interrupted by worse.
Or not better. Interrupted by better. Oh.
All right, so Molina's in play if he plays. Where else are we looking if not Molina?
Stephen Vogt and Jonathan Lucroy. I think Lucroy is the high upside play of the day. He comes in not terrible, 345 WOBA over the last 7 days. But like I said, I don't trust Jake Peavy at all.
Jan Gomes is back. There you go. I'm just looking at the lineups now. Wasn't Jan Gomes out with like a concussion
Yeah, he
for a
came
while?
back yesterday.
Oh, well, I missed that somehow. Well, he's still back. He's back again.
You were digging into your college football research.
I don't know how I missed that, but I didn't play Jan Gomes yesterday. There you go. I'm trying to see Trevor Bauer against Sal Perez. I don't mind Sal Perez. You said Lucroy. I like Lucroy tonight. Sure, why not? As a tournament play only, though, not a cast game.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. I definitely like Lucroy, but I'm definitely going to be using him as a tournament play tonight.
There's a couple pitchers out there we didn't mention them. Chris Bassett, Kyle Ryan, Marco Gonzalez, some guys that we don't normally see. But I think it's a common theme. We're going to pick on these guys.
Yeah, you can definitely play anybody from Detroit tonight. This guy had only had, I think, 6 starts in Double-A before getting called up tonight. He is really just a fill-in pitcher because they have a doubleheader tonight. He did have respectable numbers in Double-A. He was 3-1 with a 1.56 ERA with a 1.15 WHIP. So no way that I'm not going to be targeting this guy tonight, going straight from Double-A, 6 starts to a major league start tonight.
And this guy Rasmus starting tonight for the Angels. I think he hasn't had a professional start like in 3 years or so. He's been a bullpen guy. And if Boggs was here, he would tell you how terrible. I can't imagine he's going to go more than 5 or 6 innings, and he would tell you how terrible the Angels bullpen is. So Oakland is certainly much in play. And of course, if they bring in some lefties, there's going to be some switcheroo in that Oakland lineup. So be careful with that as well.
Yeah, I don't think you have to really worry about Stephen Vogt right now. He's kind of their first baseman, so I like him at catcher tonight.
Is Vogt not catcher eligible in DraftKings right now?
Yeah, he's catcher outfield still.
Okay.
But he's been playing first base. Ever since they traded Cespedes, they have lost it out in right field, and they've had Vogt playing first base.
Cespedes for the rest of us. Yeah, for some reason on the Roto-Grinders page, he's not listed as a catcher, Stephen Vogt. And that's kind of what I'm looking at to pull up my catchers. But, yeah, I like Vogt as well. Otherwise, catcher, you said all Tigers. Is Alex Avila, is he in the lineup? Avila? I never get that name right for some reason. I want to make it more Spanish than it actually is, or maybe I butcher it. Alex Avila.
Yeah, they haven't released their second lineup yet. Their second lineup for their doubleheader. I'm waiting for these doubleheader lineups to come out. And,
there's somebody has posted in chat the St. Louis one. There is Yadier. Assuming that's correct, Yadier is batting looks like 6th.
Yeah, I'm still trying to pull it up. I don't see anything official yet.
Yeah, well, unless you trust J-Double 777.
Not saying that I don't trust him.
All right.
I'm just saying that I haven't seen anything official. So me giving out advice on air that's not official is an instant email.
Fair enough. All right. Let's get out of catcher. I don't want to talk about catcher anymore. We're kind of behind on time, so let's talk about some first baseman.
We're not behind on time. We got all night.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sure. We can go to 6:37 for all we care, right?
Yeah. We'll just keep rolling. We don't have a producer.
There's nobody batting behind us either, so this is it.
No Boggs behind us.
Yeah, no Boggs, absolutely, for sure. He would be very cranky and furious and upset and all that. But, all right, first baseman, where are we looking today at first?
Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Jose Abreu.
Okay. Are we concerned here that Miguel Cabrera's hurt at all?
Oh, Miggy is definitely hurt. This
doesn't concern
horrible, but no, he's playing through it, and if he's hurting that bad, he should be sitting, but, he's not going to get out of the lineup, and you got to have to kind of trust him.
All right, and then there's V-Mart, of course, Jose Abreu, and again, that game. So here, the afternoon game, talk about the appetizer, taking over the main course. The afternoon game was Scherzer versus Sale. That's a pretty good matchup, right?
Yeah.
The night game, the nightcap, Kyle Ryan versus Chris Bassett. There you go.
Yeah, and Abreu has been a lot better against lefties over the second part of the season. He started out where he was just mashing righties, and now he's mashing everything that throws a pitch to him. So Kyle Ryan, in 21 starts in Double-A, had a 4.55 ERA. I think the Chicago White Sox are definitely in play for me tonight.
Yeah, I think both of those teams are very stackable. And again, they're also on a doubleheader too. Now, is this a thing? I think this is a thing. When there's a doubleheader, I feel like the umpire is a little more liberal with strikes because they're like, let's get this thing moving. Is that like just a narrative I'm making up in my head?
Nah, I don't think so. These umpire crews, they switch out behind the plate. They don't really care. They're getting paid big bucks to be there.
They want to go home though. They want to have a meal of
Nah.
some sort. They want to hit up some Netflix when they get home and then back to their lobby. I don't know, back to their hotel.
2 games in a row in one day is nothing for these umpires. I used to do USSSA umpiring for like 14 and 15-year-olds, and we do 8 or 9 games in a day.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. So you never at any point said, I kind of want to go home. I'm a little hungry. I want to go see my girlfriend. I'm going to make this game a little quicker than possible. Never once?
No, you get paid like $60 or $70 a game. You just kind of just go with it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And apparently the wind's blowing out as well in Chicago. So not only is Chicago a great hitting environment, but according to Brad, who's pretty solid, he knows what he's talking about. 12 to 15 miles per hour blowing out in Chicago. So
Oh, I definitely trust in Brad when it comes to Detroit. This guy follows the Tigers pretty close. So.
Yeah, and he also says that Mickey's hurt. So there you go. Take that for what it's worth. If we're going to pay that, okay, Chris Crush Davis, because Steve Pierce got hurt yesterday. Crush moved up in the lineup. He's batting 5th today. I don't know if you're aware of this. He had the grand dong last night.
I was aware of it. I did have him yesterday.
I stacked the Orioles in that DraftKings contest yesterday. I had 2 entries. I don't know how, inexplicably, like 110 points cashed for me. So it was like 108. I don't know what it was. Wasn't very impressive, but no Felix Hernandez. I had Shelby Miller and Big Irv. Those are my starting pitchers. I talked about Shelby Miller yesterday. DC gave me a hard time, but Shelby was pretty solid. He was fine. And the Oreo stack with a Crush Davis dong, cash for cash me home. I used one of my tickets. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I don't like using my tickets. I like to hoard them. I actually had to use them, and I used them successfully, I suppose.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, I definitely like Crush. I like Baltimore again tonight. Kyle Gibson has given up 10 earned runs over his last 2 starts, I think 10 innings. He started off where he was pitching well, but over his last 3 or 4, or I think it's 4 out of his last 5, he's looked really bad. So I definitely do like these Baltimore Orioles. They're swinging the bats pretty well right now. I wish Steve Pierce was playing. I wish Crush was not batting 6th and they'd move him up a little bit more, but hey.
He's 5th.
Oh, 5th. Oh, I take 5th. I thought you said 6th.
I'm sorry. Maybe I did.
That's what happens when you listen to Florida guys that can't change tires. But
one of these days I'm gonna change a tire and prove you wrong.
I'm gonna teach you how.
I'm going on a road trip tomorrow too, so I don't like the idea that this predicament's gonna come up is just gonna be too funny. I'm sure I'm gonna call somebody to come out and rescue me in the middle of.
You'll be in my neck of the woods tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, assuming I make it there.
If you make it, yep.
Yeah.
So I mentioned Ryan Howard. I don't like Cologne, so if you want a GPP option, I think Ryan Howard has the upside. He's already taken Cologne deep twice in his career, so BVP. I know I can't get you behind Ryan Howard, but I think if you want a high upside GPP play, I think he's definitely a play for me.
So Miguel Cabrera is hurt. That's kind of his excuse. What's Brandon Moss's excuse?
Just forgot how to hit.
Because I like his matchup tonight. He mashes the righties. He's got this Rasmus character. We talked about how he's not very good, and we talked about how the Angels' bullpen's pretty terrible too. He's batting cleanup. His price is down because he's been stinking. I think Moss is certainly in play there at first base.
Yeah, and if you look at his last 3 or 4 games, they're not bad. The logs 4.998. For his last 4 games. Not a lot of hits, but he's drawing walks, so that means he's probably seeing the ball better. Fine. The strikeouts are still there, so that kind of scares me. But I think for his price, he's definitely in play.
The chicks dig the long ball, Stevie. They don't dig the walks.
I dig however I can get points. Let's be honest.
Well, what about 2 points? Does that excite you? Just 2? 2 here's 2 points. Enjoy.
He can walk 3 times and hit a 3-run homer, and I'll be happy.
Well, that's the thing. You're putting the 3-run home run on layaway, but you never get excited over a walk. You're just kind of indifferent to it. Like,
I would have gotten excited last night if D. Gordon would have drawn, 1 or 2 walks.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're assuming he's going to steal 9 bases when he gets on.
Well, he could have gotten me more than -1.5. Cost me so much money. Oh.
All right, we're getting a little bitter now.
I will get bitter. Second base tonight,
We're done with first base. Chris Carter, you got to throw him out there too.
Oh yeah, Chris Carter.
Robbie Ross is not very good. We haven't picked on him yet, but Robbie Ross stinks. So there you go.
Who's Robbie Ross?
The pitcher for the Rangers tonight.
I'm kidding, Dean. I'm kidding. You didn't catch it. You killed me here.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Are we done with first? We're done with first base. Let's talk about second baseman. And speaking of Robbie Ross.
Oh, here it goes. Hold on. Take these earphones out.
Jose Altuve, man, versus a lefty.
Man love.
He's not going to dong. He's probably not going to dong, but he's going to get a couple hits against Robbie Ross, isn't he? You got to imagine so. Chris Carter's going to knock him in after, hopefully he's on third base because he steals second and third.
Yeah, Robbie Ross gave up 8 hits, 6 earned runs, and 4 1/3 against Tampa in his only start. I think it's very safe to say Jose Altuve is the top option at second base.
The only issue here is the price, $4.8K. It's not the greatest price in the world. I want to pick on Marco Gonzalez as well, the pitcher today for the Cardinals, and Baez. I like Baez batting second there for the Cubbies. I like all the Cubbies, actually, to be honest.
Did you have Soler last night?
Soler, yes, I had him. I had him on my 56-point team. He was minimum salary there on the FanDuel. He's really cheap on DraftKings as well. He's like 3 and change, like 3.2, 3.3 today. He's certainly in play. We'll get to him. He's batting cleanup tonight. I don't know if you saw that.
He's batting cleanup, yes.
Yeah, against Marco Gonzalez. And
yeah.
Gonzalez is giving up a lot of dongs.
And his price is still right.
Yes, sir.
So. I like Baez as well. Like you said, you don't get a lot of second basemen that have a lot of power. This guy definitely has the power. He's shown it a few times this season already, so I definitely think he's in play. If you don't want to take Altuve in a tournament, which I can understand, I'm a GPP guy. Contrarian is my second name, besides VVP. But I think Ian Kinsler is in play tonight. We've already mentioned just pretty much anybody's in play for Detroit. He's the same price as Altuve, similar upside, doesn't really present as many stolen bases this season, but Kinsler can definitely swipe a bag, and a pitcher like this, Kinsler, the run potential, the RBI potential, everything should be there for him tonight. Yeah,
we generally like to unleash him against lefties, but sure, I agree. I like the matchup too. I like the ballpark as well. By the way, Baez, he can swipe a base too. He strikes out a ton. He's got power, and he can swipe bags, so I like that out of my second baseman. Not the striking out part, but everything else works for me. And
we just like the upside.
Yeah, we don't love striking out. That's not the greatest thing in the world.
Give me home runs.
Aaron Hill, we wanted him in the lineup last night. We didn't get him. Tonight we get him in the lineup, but he's batting 6th, which is weird, but okay. All right, Kirk Gibson, you win again.
But, you know what would be the best? If Jordy Mercer got traded to Arizona. Then he could just really screw with us.
He'd bat him 9th, like every third lefty he faces or something like that.
Probably.
But Aaron Hill, he's still really cheap. Look, the guy is not what he once was. He's kind of his talent is not. He's old. He gets a little injured, a little dinged here and there. But Tyler Matzek, another terrible pitcher, I think we should pick on as well. I wish he was batting 2nd, maybe 3rd, something like that. But okay, I'll take him batting 6th at this price. I don't hate it. I'm not paying up for Altuve. And Alcantara, there's another guy. He's leading off for the Cubbies against the aforementioned Marco Gonzalez. Another second baseman for you. And I'm sure you can work them both in. I imagine there's positional flexibility there with Alcantara and Baez. You can play them both if you want to.
Yeah, all the Cubs are in play tonight. Tonight's going to be a high-scoring night. You're going to have to hit 140, 150 to win GPPs tonight on DraftKings, maybe even higher than that. So you want to kind of target probably in the 120 range for cash games tonight to be safe. You definitely want to hit on your pitchers, but there's tons of bats tonight, and I like Alcantara, Tara, whatever you want to call them.
You got it right the first time.
Yeah, see? Boom.
There you go. It's contagious. By the way, if you want a GPP, like a swerve kind of play, not the greatest ballpark in the world, but Rendon, Anthony Rendon, some kids call him. He absolutely smashes the lefties. He's facing Ronis Elias, so I think he's worth a look as well.
Yeah, I'm used to him being a third baseman now on most sites, but definitely second base, third base eligible on DraftKings. Always in play for me against lefties. And how about that Washington team last night? They were hitting home runs in bunches against Felix Hernandez. I know a lot of us had Felix, and I know it's all a sore spot for everybody, but you have to kind of give credit, No. Felix, it was Felix's fault. He was missing up. He couldn't hit the strike zone. His strikeout pitch wasn't there last night. He was trying to force pitches. He was missing up, and the Nats just weren't missing. So you kind of have to give the Nats credit, but oh, man. A position that's tough for me tonight, Dean?
Shortstop?
Very tough for me tonight.
Well,
tell me on somebody.
The aforementioned, position eligibility here on DraftKings. Guess what second baseman is also eligible on shortstop? We just talked about him.
Bring it on.
Javier Baez.
Oh, is he really?
Yes, sir.
See, I didn't see that because I had him in my lineup. So.
Yeah, Javier Baez 4.1K again. We talked about we want to pick on the St. Louis pitcher, so Javier Baez, roll him out there at your shortstop position. If not Baez, Peralta's still priced down. I would say I think he's worth a look. The Silent Eights, Johnny Peralta. I don't really know. That's kind of I have not jumped in. I guess JJ Hardy. No, not really. No, thank you. That's kind of like where I'm stopping. I think that's just sort of lock and load him in. You mentioned D. Gordon. I don't want to pick on Ian Kennedy. It doesn't make any sense tonight. Brian Dozier's too expensive. Hanley Ramirez.
On my blacklist.
Oh, well, just because of one night? That's it? You're done?
Oh, it's been 3 or 4 times I've played him.
All right, fair
enough. But let's be honest. He hit a ball last night that was a shot that Laureano, the right fielder for San Diego, made a great play that cost me thousands. Anyway, Jimmy Rollins.
Castro in the lineup as well for the Cards?
I think he's batting third.
All right, so the Cubs have like 3 guys that are shortstop eligible or second base eligible. I'm sure you can maybe have to pick 2 of those 3. I'm not sure that works. But again, that's kind of where I'm looking for my middle infielders. Chicago. There you go. The Cubbies.
There you go. And we're running late, so third base.
Well, we mentioned Rendon there. He's eligible at third base, of course, on DraftKings as a tournament play. But as a cash play, I think, it's not Coors Field, but Aaron, you said you like Nuno, but Arenado absolutely smashes the lefties, and it's still a healthy hitting environment. So I think Arenado's your top third baseman if price was not a consideration.
Yeah, I don't hate that play. I'm kind of going contrarian at third base tonight. This guy, I'm hoping, is going to be less than 5% owned. His numbers at home this season are fantastic. Kyle Seager against Steven Strasburg. I am going for it.
I think just the Seattle stack in general is a good contrarian move. But yeah, I'm not going to talk you out of that. I probably won't play him for my cash games.
Definitely not for my cash games. I think Arenado is definitely the safest play for cash games tonight. If Carlos Santana is third base eligible, we didn't really get to him, but I think he's also a good cash game third baseman tonight as well. But those are the 2 guys I'm targeting for cash games. I'm playing GPPs tonight. I'm playing some Kyle Seager.
Longo Dongo against Webster. Webster's been brutal against lefties. I guess we could throw up, we can go back for a second. Ben Zobrist, I don't hate him. Switch hitter against Webster. I don't mind him as a second baseman. Longoria, I think, is kind of sort of a contrarian play. His price is kind of up as well, but he's always in play. He's one of the most talented third basemen out there. Of course, ditto there with Adrian Beltre. All right, David Wright, he's hurt. He's got that RoboCop tape put together. Jerome Williams, I know we like to pick on lefties, but David Wright's price is down. Maybe worth a look, but maybe he just can't hit right now. I don't know, but he's not really showing that he can do anything at this point. He's playing through the back pain, and if he's in the lineup, you have to assume he's at least competent, like 80% what David Wright can do. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the right play tonight. I think that I would rather just pay up for one of the guys that we mentioned. Here's a thing for you for GPPs tonight.
Yeah.
You definitely kind of want to get some exposure to Jose Abreu at first base. Chris Davis is third base eligible on DraftKings.
Sneaky.
I love it. I love the Jose Abreu, Chris Davis, third base, first base. I like it a lot. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's pretty sweet upside, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, if you're playing GPPs and you want a team, that can hit a ton of home runs for you, Jose Abreu, Chris Davis, Kyle Seager. Figure that one out.
Looks like we have pretty much every single lineup. I don't see a Cardinals lineup, but do we have a Tigers lineup yet or no? I don't see the Tigers in.
Pull out my handy-dandy refresh button here.
I only see the Oh no, we have no Tigers lineup just yet. We have the White Sox though. I'm just kind of seeing what lineups came out so far, but I guess you got to throw Josh Donaldson out there too. We're talking about as far as third baseman. I don't know if he's your cash game guy. He's pretty expensive, but I want to pick on Rasmus. I have no problem with that. And again, Rasmus probably not going to go. Maybe 5, certainly not past 6. So in that Anaheim bullpen we mentioned is pretty terrible. So I think he's worth a look. Otherwise, that's it for third base, right? We're ready to move on?
Yep.
Outfielders. I think outfield's kind of a spot where you save money today.
Yeah, I'm not loving really anything in the outfield tonight.
Yeah.
But we definitely started to talk about Solar a little bit. I wrote him up yesterday in the article that I wrote here on RotoGrinders. I talked about him on the show for 5 minutes yesterday. I'm right back on him tonight. 3,500 is a great price tag for his upside against a bad pitcher all day long.
How bad is Adam Eaton versus lefties? Because you got him leading off versus Kyle Ryan, and I was talking to the other two guys. We know Diane Viciedo, the tank. Historically he's been pretty solid versus lefties, and Avisail Garcia batting cleanup. I think he's worth a look as well. I'm just kind of looking at that whole team. Is Eaton? Is he competent against lefties? Is he worth a play? If you're stacking the White Sox?
I think anybody's in play for the White Sox tonight. But you mentioned Garcia. He's one of my top outfield options tonight. In a small sample size this year, his left-handed numbers are just insane. I love his upside. I like him a lot tonight. I like his price at 4,300. I think you could do a lot worse if you don't take Garcia.
Did someone say upside? Because here's the Trumbomb, Mark Trumbo, against a lefty, against a bad lefty, in a positive hitting environment. Tyler Matzek.
But Matzek is a ground ball pitcher, so I'm not really liking Arizona too much tonight, but I definitely like the Trumbo pick. Not on Aaron Hill, though. Ugh.
All right. Well, I want to pick on Matt. How do I pick on Matzek? I know his lineup's terrible.
I don't know.
How do I do it? Montero's the lefty. I don't want to throw the lefty at him. I don't want to throw Peralta at him necessarily.
Cliff Pennington. There you go.
Who?
Cliff Pennington. His numbers are insane against lefties.
Pennington stinks.
Insane against lefties.
But he still stinks. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. No, thank you.
I'm looking up his price.
How cheap is he? Because he's batting second. He's probably worth a look.
He's 3K, second base shortstop eligible. We said we really don't love a shortstop tonight, so
all right. Okay, I don't hate that, but I still don't like Pennington. But fair enough.
Tell me how you really feel about him.
I just don't like him. He's not good. You said you don't like Jake Peavy. You want to pick on Peavy? Do you like these the Brewers outfielders here? We don't like to unleash them against lefties, but.
I think. Oh, we didn't mention Scooter.
Oh, is it Scooter week? Is it Scooter month? Is it Scooter year? What's going on here?
It's Scooter anytime there's a bad righty, and Jake Peavy is the definition of a bad righty against lefties. So. Are
we sure he's bad, or are you just bitter about him leaving Boston?
No, I'm definitely not bitter. I threw a party when he left. No, his numbers against lefties this year are absolutely nasty. I'm gonna pull him up just because. Hold on.
And also, whenever the Tigers lineup gets released, I don't mind the Tigers either.
PV has a 356 WOBA against lefties this year.
That's bad, right?
That's not good.
Okay, just want to clarify. I'm kind of ignoring. I don't want to pick on Jared Kozar. I think he's better than people think he is. So I'm going to kind of ignore that. I'm ignoring that whole Marlins Atlanta game. I'm just not bothering with it. I'm pretending like it doesn't exist, like it's not happening.
You're ignoring Stanton against Harang?
In a tournament, of course, Stanton's in play. Absolutely.
Ozuna has BVP against Harang.
What's the BVP? Like 3 for 9.
Garrett Saltalamacchia has BVP against.
He's terrible. Oh, Saltalamacchia's got revenge. Does that mean anything or no?
No.
No, he stinks though. I don't like Salty. It's not
Hector Rivera has BVP. Everybody has BVP against Aaron Harang tonight. Garrett Jones, Stanton.
I will say that game is the battle of probably the two best defensive shortstops at least in the National League. I know everybody talks about how good Simmons is. He's awesome. But Danny Echeverria's got a really sweet glove as well if you watch him play.
Yeah, I can see that.
He does, absolutely. I'm not being a homer.
I tend to watch quite a few Marlins games, actually.
Check out the Danny Echeverria. He's got a pretty solid glove. Drew Stubbs batting second versus Vidal Nuno. There's somebody just popped out to me. Stubbs smashes the lefties, and again, you said you like Nuno in a tournament, but sure, I like Stubbs. I think he's an interesting play, and it's not Coors, but it's the next best thing to Coors. So there you go. Drew Stubbs, another guy for you.
There you go. I don't hate that play at all. I do like Nuno. I like him in tournaments, but I'm a multi guy. If I roll out 5 to 10 lineups, I'll probably have him on 1 or 2, and I'll probably have Stubbs on 1 or 2 because I think the upside for Stubbs is there. The blow up potential for Nuno is there as well.
See, I'm mostly a cash game player as far as I would say 70%, 80% of my plays are cash games, head to head, double up, that kind of thing, and then I'll throw out 2, maybe 3 tournament lineups and just kind of throw them out there. And I always throw my cash game lineup in my in tournaments just in case. That's what my Felix.
That's like the number one rule.
Yeah, because things happen, and they're usually not stacked, but weird things happen. You don't have to win a tournament with a stacked team. That's a common misconception. Like, oh, it's got to be stacked. It doesn't have to be. You can take it down in many ways, but weird things happen in baseball. But yeah. Throw what was the point of this conversation? Where was I going with this? I'll tell you what, it's 6:31, and unfortunately, this had a great ending to it, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Stay tuned. Cliffhanger. Next time, we're going to pick up right where you left off. No, we're not.
No. You can see me tomorrow, though. I get to finish my 7-day series on Grinders Live. I'm on again tomorrow, so if you guys want to see this ugly mug one more time, no college football tomorrow. We'll be locked and loaded and ready to go.
I will not be here tomorrow, and I will not be watching your show, unfortunately. Nothing personal.
You'll be doing a football draft.
Yeah, well, I'm doing not a draft, an auction. By the way, here's a little note for you people. Stop doing drafts. Stop doing snake drafts. They're stupid. They're archaic. But the snake draft is equivalent to the same league that doesn't have decimal points for scoring. I mean,
oh, I know.
The leagues that have, I got 5 points. If only he would have carried for one more yard, I would have got one more point. Like, what are you talking about? Dude, we have calculators. The internet does this for you. The work's already done. You don't need to carry ones and do math and all that. If somebody gets 59 yards, give them credit for 59 yards, not 50. It's outrageous.
Oh, I agree with you. You're not going to hear any complaining or disagreeing with you on that.
Oh, I just can't believe people still do that.
Non-PPR leagues drive me insane, too.
What's that?
Non-PPR leagues drive me insane.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Don't even get me started. I mean, again, season-long leagues archaic enough as is because you should be playing daily fantasy. That's why you're here. That's why we're talking about it. But if you are going to play it right. Do it with an auction and do it with rounded out points and things like that. It's silly. It's nonsense.
I agree with you.
Oh, before I go, I'm gonna let you sign off, Stevie. But I want to say I want to put a cheap plug in. You ready for a cheap plug? Me and Beers, Beer Makers fan. We're gonna be on Sirius Radio tonight, Sirius XM, 10 o'clock to midnight. I'll put the call-in number in the room if anybody want to call. If anybody's interested in pranking us or asking a serious question or just want to say hello or trolling or whatever you want to do, feel free. We welcome as many callers as possible. We're going to be talking this is pretty cool, DFS NFL Week 1. How exciting is that?
Oh, I'm totally setting my alarm. I missed this last week. And here's the thing, Dean. We talked about this last week a little bit. I was in my hotel room last week, and I was doing an auction draft, $250 buy-in.
Good job, by the way. Good for you doing an auction draft.
Congratulations. It was a bunch of local guys, and I fell asleep. Here's the bad thing, Dean. I had 4 players, and I had $130. I was set up perfect.
Yes.
And I fell asleep. So my team is ugly. I've already shipped it in. That if anybody wants any of my team players, just send me trades. But that's why I didn't call in last week.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. Did nobody wake you up and say, "Hey, Stevie, you have 4 players. Maybe you should, try."
Nobody texted me or called me or anything.
Oh, it was an auction online. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is an in-person auction. That's much different.
Oh
because
yeah.
You get to taunt people when you're bumping their guys up.
So, all right. Well, it's 6:35. Dean's gonna post that number in there. Give them guys a call tonight. Ask them all the questions about football and drive them insane. I'm probably gonna call in just to make my appearance on giving them trouble and hard times as well. So, but with that said, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck tonight, and we will. I'll see you tomorrow. Dean will see you next week. We out.
Holler!